The middle part of the layout features a small city. It's just a typical American town from, say, the 1950s. No distinct era or location, other than it butts up against a secret military base. The town features a couple unique buildings. There's a Studebaker car dealership, and there's also a Studebaker used car lot. So it was my way of sort of connecting a train layout that's in South Bend, Indiana, that's based on the desert Southwest to something local to our area. You'll also notice that there's an O'Grady's Tavern where the customers inside are cheering for Notre Dame to win yet another national championship. Well, we can dream, right? In the middle of the town area, you'll see that there's 40 aliens that have invaded. They're from the Toy Story movies. And those actually were a gift to me from my cousin's wife for my 40th birthday. She got me 40 little aliens for my training. One area of interest in the town area is that it's being invaded by a giant robot. And it's a tin toy model of Gort from the day the Earth stood still. Coming to the defense of the town is the U.S. Marines with their locomotive that is about to blast Gort away with their rockets. Even though the layout features a desert Southwest motif, you'll notice that there is a Lionel Hellgate bridge. And I just felt that you can't build a Lionel train layout and not have a Hellgate bridge on it. It's such an icon. The third section of the layout is a secret military base. You'll notice that there's no fencing up, but if you've ever heard stories of Area 51, the area is actually devoid of fencing as well, and that's the reason for having it built like this on the layout. The military base features an airstrip and an F-117 stealth fighter is sitting at the ready. On the layout I have running on the outer loop the post-war celebration series 2383 Super Chief set. It's a reproduction of the 1960 set that Lionel originally made. It was made just a couple years ago, updated with command control and rail sounds. On the inner loop on the layout, running over the mountain and through it, is a Lionel Lionmaster SD90 Mac Union Pacific coupled to a Lionel Lionmaster SD80 Mac non-powered unit. The set of cars behind it are the relatively new Alien Area 51 cars that I've collected. And then on the rear are a few extra military and space cars. The 59 Minuteman switcher train is again a Lionel post-war celebration unit with command control. Behind it are the MX missile cars that the TTOS club produced over a period of a couple years. The 45 Marine engine and cars is again the post-war celebration set that Lionel made a few years ago. It's upgraded with command control and TMCC and rail sounds. There's a special add-on car that features the sound system, and there's also an add-on car that's the Big John cannon car.
Jeff has been very involved in the hobby. He served as the TCA Midwest Division President, where he observed some changes in the market.
The hobby today, in comparison to 10 years ago, I think is much more fragmented. There are many people who are drawn to the scale aspects of the hobby, and there are still many people that enjoy the collecting of the old post-war trains. But it seems like there's a real fragmentation. 10 years from now, I think that the hobby will find itself possibly converging back together as more people that aspire to the scale items also realize that there's a lot of really neat things in the old post-war trains. And I think the layout like I have, it combines both elements, where you can have old post-war toy trains, but have them in a more scale setting.
Filmmaker Orson Welles once called a movie set the biggest electric train set a boy ever had. Jeff likes to think of his train layout as the biggest movie set a boy ever had.
The Southern Pacific Daylight is considered by many to be the most beautiful steam locomotive ever made. The GS4 4449, built by the Lima Locomotive Works of Lima, Ohio, was placed into service on May 30th, 1941. The 4449 headed the famous train that raced along the Pacific Ocean between Los Angeles and San Francisco during the 40s and early 50s, the golden age of passenger travel in America. The GS stood for Golden State, and the train was named the Daylight because it departed early in the morning and arrived before sunset. After retirement in 1957, it was placed on static display until 1974, when it was chosen to head the second American Freedom Train. The 4449 was restored at the Burlington Northern's Hoyt Street Roundhouse in Portland, Oregon. In 1976, the 4449 emerged from the Hoyt Roundhouse in the beautiful red, white, and blue of the Freedom Train. The story of the American Freedom Train is featured in our I Love Toy Trains DVD, Part 12. Now let's jump ahead to the summer of 2009. The 4449 Daylight had once again been painted in the gorgeous red, orange, silver, and black of its original scheme, and was on a cross-country tour headed for Owasso, Michigan, to be the star attraction at their Train Fest. We caught up with the 4449 as it passed through Franklin Park, Illinois, and New Buffalo, Michigan.
This is 4436. Am I clear to pull? Trying to hold our schedule. Over.
Not yet, 4436. I will let you know. Over.
Okay, dispatch. Standing by. 4436. Out.
Lionel introduced their fine scale model of the GS4 Daylight in 2007. They chose number 4436 with a built date of April 1941.
4436, you are all clear. Over.
The Lionel model came fully equipped with the Lionel Legacy Control System, Rail Sounds 5.0, a wireless tether, operating headlight, backup light on the tender, and an adjustable puffing fan-driven smoke unit.
Thank you. Train is clear to move. 4436. Out.
Hey there, folks. I need to see your tickets. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, lounge cars open. All aboard. Ladies and gentlemen, lounge cars open. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the Daylight.
This is 4436. We're packing it in for the day.
David Dansky of Ridgefield, Oregon, has been collecting and operating toy trains for 63 years. Many people know David from his toy train heaven ads in hobby magazines. He's been buying and selling trains since 1975.
The first toy train I ever got was in 1946. My father bought me a 726 Berkshire work train, and I remember very carefully the opening up of the box, i.e. ripping it to shreds, which is kind of funny when today everybody is so impressed with having an original box, because I wanted to get to the train. And as I tell people now, when you get a birthday cake, you eat the cake and you throw away the box. Then as I got older, every time I got a little money, I would buy a train and get 99 cents. I could go to Sprouse Reeds and get a Plasticville. If I got $4.95, I could buy a Lionel car. Fast forward to started to teach, got married, got a little extra money. Not much when you're teaching, and so I got into the business of buying and selling toy trains, and that's how I started Toy Train Heaven. And just been collecting trains ever since. I guess I'm an addict.
While most in the hobby consider themselves either a collector or an operator, David's train room is evidence he is both.
I'm really both, but I think I lean towards being a collector. I mean, I like trains because of their, I think, intrinsic beauty. They kind of remind me of like an Erte Art Deco piece. And to me, they just speak to me the same way maybe even a Chagall painting or an impressionistic painting would. So I like them because of their beauty, their color, and you can see just how pretty really they are. My collection is really an eclectic collection. I only collect those things that appeal to me visually and aesthetically. I have lots of Lionel, I have Flyer, I have Ives, I love standard gauge, I love pre-war, I love Marklin, I love Dorfan. I don't think there's a train set that I don't like, and I've been trying to collect one train set from each country. And recently I found a train set made in the 1950s and of all places, Bangalore, India. It's not that I just like Lionel, I like all toy trains. I think that's my problem actually, because I don't have enough room to put all the trains in that I'd like to have. Every time I walk in this room, it's hard not to smile. The look, the feel, there are so many stories behind these trains. One of the trains that I own was the train that was owned by Hubert Humphrey, Vice President Hubert Humphrey, when he was a kid.
David's collection spans many eras, includes many gauges from many manufacturers. Among these beautiful trains is a rare standard gauge Blue Comet set made by Boucher.
All of these things speak to me, and I don't care if something is little or if it's really big. It just works for me. The room is a childhood dream of mine come to fruition. We moved up here in 1995. I had this room built for trains. Frankly, I thought it would be big enough it's about 33 by 30. The layout is 24 by 16. I thought that would be big enough to fulfill all of my dreams. How silly I was. The layout is really very simple. I met a man in about 1994 named Al Maris. And after talking to him, I said, you know, if I ever come up here and live up here, would you build a layout for me?